Hi everyone. I hope you all had a beautiful day today. I'm coming back to show you what I did with the flower petals that I cut from my vintage piece of fabric that I found. The process that I had done the other day was I took some glue and water mixture, Elmer's glue and plain water, and I brushed over these petals, and it stiffens them, as you can see, and then you can make things with them. I had shown briefly some trial pieces that I had made, but wanted to give you a better idea of how beautiful these flowers can really be. So this is one that I made today, and with the stiffened leaves, or I'm sorry, petals, as you can see, it makes a really beautiful flower. So I'm going to show you how I made this. I have some really tiny dowels, and I do have green floral tape that you can put on these as well. We'll try that and see how that works. But here is the first one that I made. So here is the dowel, and I'm going to use some of my craft bond glue. You can use tacky glue, whatever kind of glue would work pretty fast in drying. So I am really pleased with this glue and its dry rate, even when I'm adhering more of 3D type items to my journals or tags. It works really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little dowel, and I'm going to take one of the pieces of the flower, that petal that is just plain. You do get some plain colored ones in here, which once you mix them together, they look really pretty. And then as you see down here, I have stiffened some lace ones. They're not quite dry yet, but you can use all kinds of fabric for this. So I'm just going to twist this around the dowel so that I can get a centerpiece. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to grab some glue, and I'm just going to stick it in there and then just press it with my fingers. And as you do that, it'll adhere to the dowel. Now, depending on how big your flower is, you may not want your center to come up too high. So I don't know if you can see where the dowel is, but we'll just leave it at that length for now. And you just basically keep going around it with your fingers until it starts to stick. So you can see this glue is pretty good for this project because it's already sticking. Now I'm going to cut off a tiny piece of this. And these are so thin, they just cut with your scissors. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to use this to then apply some glue to the side. You can use a brush or whatever you want. I just found that this was a little bit easier. So then I am going to take some of the flowers, and you can round these with your hands, or let me see if I can grab another one of these These are just a small pack I got. Actually, I sent my husband to get these for me at Walmart, and he brought me these skinny ones, and I really wanted larger ones, but I'm glad I have these now because they come in handy. So what I'm going to basically do with this second one is I'm going to curl or design my flower petal. Now you can do this also once it's glued down to your stem. So I'm just going to roll it over like this. Here you can make yourself a pretty lily if you just want to leave it like that. Or we can continue to roll these a little bit. Now, this fabric, what I am attempting to do is I want the colored pieces, you know, the pieces that have the darker print. And you can also just dab it in here like this as well. And I want it to show on the inside. And the reason why I wanted to show on the inside is because once I am ready to fold these down, I want you to be able to see the pattern of the fabric that way. So we just continue to take pieces, and when I made my stems, I'll show you how I cut them. I cut them so that they were more, why am I saying stems? I mean petals. I cut them so that they were narrower at the bottom so that you can actually pinch them around the edge of the flower. So I'm going to put this one on. I'm just going to squeeze it and just continue to roll it with my fingers so that it sticks. Sometimes you have to get the other ones in there and just kind of roll them around, and then they'll start to stick. If you have any kind of tacky glue, that'll work well. I wouldn't suggest anything like E6000 or 7000 or whatever that's called, because what happens a lot of times with that type of glue is it smells pretty strong. So you don't need anything like that at all. You just need a little bit of tacky glue. Probably even Elmer's glue would work, because fabric is pretty easy to manipulate and to glue. So I did notice with these little stems though that the dowels aren't very thick. You saw I cut it with a pair of scissors, and sometimes when you do that, or when you can do that, that means that the dowel's not very thick. So on the other flower I made, it accidentally broke. So be careful and recognize your own strength with these, because the dowel can break off. And if it breaks off too high, you may have to redo your whole flower. So I don't know if you remember seeing this similar design being done before, but you can also do this with coffee filters. Not the round ones, but the ones that are more like an envelope. And there are some templates online on how to do that. So So you just keep going around. As you can see, it's really smooth, and you just keep going around and adding your petals. You don't have to shape them all as you go. You can just add them, and then later we can do the design of the petals. Just try to stagger them so that you're getting the flower even on each side, and that'll make a more beautiful flower. So if you're worrying about the stiffening process, the more glue that you put on the petals, the stiffer they're going to be. And I think, honestly, the stiffer the better, because then you can manipulate them more. If you don't have very much glue on them, they're not going to bend like you want them to. So let me see. I also made some that were smaller in size, because I want to be able to make some buds as well. So here we go. We're going to add this one to the side. I hope I don't break my dowel, because this one looks this looks empty on this side. So let me just put that on. And I'm liking how it's coming out. And once we start to curl the petals, as I said, it'll look like a fuller flower. So let me just make sure that I have enough glue on here. And once the lace dries that I have, I'm excited to try that and see how mixing the two fabrics together will make a really pretty design. I have actually some eyelet here. I'm going to try that on this one. This is just a little piece of tea stained eyelet that I had in my stash, and unfortunately I only had a little strip, so I was only able to make, I think, like maybe 3 or 4 of these petals, but I'm sure I can find some more somewhere. So one thing I was noticing with this piece of violet, you can, if you get it in white, you can tea stain it if you want your flower to look more vintage. You know, if you've watched some of my videos before, I'm totally enamored by Dylusions spray ink, and that is something you could use to spray your petals with if you wanted to get a different color, or watercolor. Let me feel this one. It doesn't feel like it's very stiff, but I'm going to leave it on there anyway. One thing I want to caution you about, so you want to do this on, that's why my desk looks so ugly, you want to do it on some kind of plastic, because you want to be able to peel these up really easily once they're dried. Let me see if I can find that other piece of eyelet. Maybe I only had 3 pieces. But what I was going to say is, with something that's plain, for example, this piece of eyelet here, if you use too much glue, you're going to get like, how do I explain it? Like a ring around the edge that's going to be the residue of the glue. And sometimes you have to retrim your flowers. So just keep that in mind. I really haven't had that happen with anything other than this eyelet that I tried. So it's all going to be basically trial and error for you as to what fabrics work the best. Now, I imagine this piece that I originally picked out to use, it is a vintage piece, but it's probably cotton. I would stick to quilting material, quilting cotton, because that's where you're going to get your best stiffness and, you know, the best quality of petals to be able to manipulate. So I really like this one. I'm going to have to put some glue up here though, because this one keeps wanting to flop down. I don't think I got it starched up enough, but I'm not going to take it off because I like it on there. I'm just going to stick it up here a little bit and hold it. But as you can see, you can make a really pretty flower from these. They are two-dimensional, I think, to actually use in a journal, unless you are going to put them on the front. But they would make a gorgeous bouquet. So that is my idea for cutting up. And here's one of the lace ones that has already stiffened up. And so I think this was a piece of a small crocheted doily or mat of some type. And I just cut it up because it was all kind of coming apart and threads were loose in it. So I used that one. But I think I really like this effect of having the floral and then having some plain. I think that looks really pretty. And then, like I said, if you want to put the green on it, you can. I actually, I don't know if I'm going to do that with these because they're vintage. I want them to be, I like them on the dowel by themselves. And as you can see around the edge here, it's not an ugly edge. If you keep pressing and gluing, you're going to get a nice smooth edge. It's not ugly by any means. And if you put several of these into a little vase, this is just one of my glasses I use for my water. Isn't that just so pretty and so cute and fun to make? So what I do is I just sit here and enjoy watching a movie or binge watch a series on Netflix or watch other craft videos and cut out my pieces and cut them in different sizes and make sure you have that narrow part at the end so that you have a place to grab around your dowel. And I always put the floral part on the inside. So sadly, I'm going to be out of this vintage fabric soon, but I've tried to make as much use as I can of it by cutting different sizes. So I think it'll be cute to come up with a tinier flower as well. So there you have it. I will show you, and I probably have showed this before, but in case you didn't get to see it, I'm working on this journal, and it is a chunky journal, but here's one page in the journal where I did use a flower. Let me move this out of the way so you can see it. This was my my Stamperia journal that I was doing, and I used a lot of my pink paper that I dyed. But right here is a really cute flower that I made and put on there, and it is a little thick for this journal, but I think it's going to be fun. The only thing that I noticed is I haven't sewn in all the signatures, and my cover is not as big as I thought it was. So I'm going to have to take out the contents, and I'm going to have to find another cover and just use this for the front and the other for the back. So that's what I'm working on, finding something to be a suitable cover for this. I also used the little flower here, and then this was a piece of doily that I starched with the glue that I think makes a really cute center, or it's supposed to be actually her sleeve. So I really like the effect that the glue and water mixture makes, because it makes the fabric stiff, and you can maneuver it then whatever way you want. So that's the idea for the vintage fabric that I found in my stash. I hope you have enjoyed the video. I did finally get my Hobby Lobby package, and I will probably do that little haul video tomorrow. I have to get some of this a little bit more organized so that you guys don't see my messy desk. But with this particular project, it was kind of necessary, because you do need this plastic, and it does get kind of yucky whenever you are applying glue to the petals. But again, here is the Craft Bond all-purpose glue. It's strong, wet tack, dries clear, remains flexible. And I really like this. It's a durable bond, and I really like it. It has been in my stash for a long time, and I just happened to find it in one of my boxes with my stamps in it. So I hope I can get some more of this. I'm also uploading a video on how to make your own faux washi tape, which isn't my original idea. However, there is some originality in the video that I think you will like. And I have ordered from Temu again, so we'll be seeing a Temu haul soon. I am so thankful for all of my new subscribers, and I've been getting some of the most beautiful comments. So thank you so much. And thank you to the other artists that are out there that have inspired me to share my art with you. So I hope you all have a really good weekend, and have some interesting projects coming up to share. I'll be looking for your videos, and I appreciate you watching mine. You all have a beautiful evening, and as I always say, art on.